Elliot Crane had everything but happiness until a song from a cleaning lady unlocked his son's first smile in months. Could her music heal them all? Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. The morning sun shone through the large glass windows of Elliot Crane's estate. The house was beautiful, modern, spotless, and perfectly organized. It was also as quiet as a library. Elliot Crane stood in his kitchen, dressed in an expensive grey suit, checking his watch. At 34, he was one of the youngest and most successful tech CEOs in California. His company, Crane Technologies, had just hit record profits. He had everything money could buy, except happiness. "Noah," he called softly, "it's time for breakfast." From upstairs came the soft padding of small feet. Noah, Elliot's 7-year-old son, appeared in the doorway. He was a small boy with dark hair like his father's and bright blue eyes. Noah didn't speak. He hadn't spoken in over a year, not since his mother left. "Your cereal is ready," Elliot said, gesturing to the bowl on the table. Noah sat down and began eating, his eyes focused on the bowl. Elliot watched him, his heart aching. He loved his son more than anything in the world, but he didn't know how to reach him. Noah was autistic and highly sensitive to sound and touch. The doctors had explained that Noah's world was different from Elliot's, louder, more intense, sometimes overwhelming. After his wife, Caroline, left, claiming she couldn't handle it anymore, Elliot had thrown himself into providing the best care for Noah, the best doctors, the most expensive therapists, private tutors, anything money could buy. But the one thing Noah needed most, emotional connection, was the one thing Elliot struggled to give. "I have meetings until 6 today," Elliot said, placing his coffee cup in the sink. "Mrs. Peterson will be here to watch you until 3, and then your tutor will come. And," he hesitated, "there will be a new cleaning lady starting today. The agency is sending someone." Noah didn't respond, continuing to eat his cereal in silence. Elliot sighed and grabbed his briefcase. "I'll see you tonight, buddy." As he drove his expensive car down the winding road from his Sonoma County estate, Elliot couldn't shake the sadness that had become his constant companion. Noah hadn't smiled in months. Maya Jefferson stood at the bus stop in Oakland, checking her watch. She couldn't be late on her first day at this new job. The cleaning agency had been very specific. This client was important and demanded perfection. At 26, Maya was used to responsibility. After her parents died, she had put her music education on hold to raise her younger siblings. Her brother CJ was autistic and musically gifted, just like Maya. They had a special bond. Maya had learned to understand the way CJ communicated through music instead of words. Now, with her siblings older and more independent, Maya was trying to piece her life back together. She still sang in church on Sundays, her rich voice filling the small building and moving the congregation to tears. But during the week, she cleaned houses to pay the bills. "Be professional," her boss at the agency had told her. "Mr. Crane is very particular. The house must be spotless, and avoid interacting with the child. Just do your job and leave." The bus arrived, and Maya got on, humming softly to herself. Music had always been her comfort, her way of staying connected to herself and the world around her. 2 hours later, Maya stood in front of the most beautiful house she had ever seen. It was all glass and wood, perched on a hill overlooking vineyards. She took a deep breath and rang the doorbell. An older woman answered. "You must be Maya. I'm Mrs. Peterson, Noah's caretaker. Mr. Crane is at work." Maya followed Mrs. Peterson inside. The house was gorgeous but felt strangely empty, like a museum rather than a home. "The cleaning supplies are in this closet," Mrs. Peterson explained. "Mr. Crane likes everything done in a specific order. Here's the list. Noah is in the playroom. Please try not to disturb him." With that, the older woman walked away, leaving Maya alone in the huge kitchen. Maya looked at the list. It was detailed and rigid, just like the house itself. She sighed, put on her headphones, and began to work, humming softly to herself as she always did. By lunchtime, Maya had finished the downstairs. The house was quiet, except for the occasional sound of Mrs. Peterson talking to Noah. Curious, Maya peeked into the playroom as she passed. A small boy sat on the floor, meticulously arranging colored blocks in a pattern. He didn't look up when Maya paused in the doorway. "That's Noah," Mrs. Peterson said, appearing behind Maya. "He doesn't talk, so don't expect him to answer if you speak to him." Maya nodded, but her heart went out to the boy. He reminded her so much of CJ at that age, focused in his own world, but not unreachable, just different. "Does he like music?" Maya asked. Mrs. Peterson shrugged. "I don't know. His father doesn't play music in the house. Says it's too stimulating for Noah. Maya frowned but didn't argue. It wasn't her place. After lunch, Mrs. Peterson left, saying she had errands to run and would be back before Noah's tutor arrived. He'll be fine, she assured Maya. He never leaves that room. Maya continued cleaning, working her way upstairs. As she dusted the hallway, she heard a small crash from downstairs. Rushing down, she found Noah in the kitchen, a broken glass on the floor in front of him. "It's okay," Maya said gently, keeping her distance. "Don't move. There's glass." Noah stood frozen, his eyes wide with fear. Maya quickly grabbed a broom and swept up the glass. "All better now," she said with a smile. "Were you thirsty?" Noah didn't respond, but he didn't run away either. Maya filled a plastic cup with water and handed it to him. He took it carefully, avoiding touching her fingers. "You know," Maya said conversationally as Noah drank, "my brother CJ doesn't talk much either, but he loves music. Do you like music, Noah?" Noah's eyes flickered to her face for a brief moment, then away again. "I'm Maya, by the way," she continued, keeping her voice soft and calm. "I'm going to be cleaning your house sometimes." Noah finished his water and put the cup down. Then, to Maya's surprise, he took her hand and pulled her gently. "You want me to come with you?" Maya asked. Noah tugged again, and Maya followed him through the house to a room she hadn't cleaned yet. It was a music room, with a grand piano and several other instruments carefully arranged around the space. Everything was dusty, as if the room hadn't been used in a long time. "Is this your room?" Maya asked. Noah went to a cabinet and pulled out a small drum. He sat down on the floor with it, looking up at Maya expectantly. Maya smiled. She recognized this. CJ used to do the same thing when he wanted her to sing. "Would you like me to sing something?" she asked softly. Noah tapped the drum once. Maya thought for a moment, then began to sing "Unforgettable" by Nat King Cole, her voice warm and low. Noah began to tap the drum, softly and rhythmically, his eyes focused on her. Maya sang, watching Noah's face. Slowly, something amazing happened. The corners of his mouth turned up. He was smiling. Elliot Crane was having a terrible day. A deal had fallen through. His assistant had quit, and he had a pounding headache. All he wanted was to go home to the quiet of his house and spend some time with Noah before dinner. As he pulled into his driveway, he was surprised to hear something coming from inside the house. Music. No, not just music. Singing. Elliot followed the sound to the music room, a room he had almost forgotten existed. It had been Caroline's space, and after she left, he had closed the door and never opened it again. Now as he stood in the doorway, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. A young woman was sitting cross-legged on the floor, singing in a beautiful, soulful voice. And beside her was Noah, tapping a drum and smiling. Actually smiling. Elliot felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. He hadn't seen his son smile in months, not since Caroline left. And here was this stranger, this cleaning lady, connecting with Noah in a way that all the expensive specialists hadn't been able to. "What are you doing?" Elliot demanded, his voice sharper than he intended. The woman stopped singing immediately, looking up with startled brown eyes. "Mr. Crane," she said, "I'm sorry, What are you doing to him?" Elliot asked, stepping into the room. The woman looked confused. "I'm not doing anything to him," she said calmly. "I'm just with him." Noah's smile disappeared, and he put down the drum, his body tensing. "How you were told to clean, not to interact with my son," Elliot said, though his anger was already fading as he watched Noah's reaction. "I'm sorry," the woman said, standing up. "Noah brought me in here. He wanted me to sing." Elliot stared at her, then at Noah. "He brought you in here?" "Yes," she said. "He took my hand and led me here." Elliot was stunned. Noah rarely initiated contact with anyone, even him. "Who are you?" he asked. "Maya Jefferson," she said. "The agency sent me to clean your house." Elliot looked at his son, who was now hiding behind Maya's legs, peering out at him. Something about the sight made his heart ache. "Where's Mrs. Peterson?" he asked. "She went to run errands. She should be back soon." As if on cue, they heard the front door open. "Noah?" Mrs. Peterson called. "I'm back." Maya looked uncomfortable. "I should get back to work," she said. "I haven't finished upstairs yet." Elliot nodded, still trying to process what he had seen. As Maya left the room, Noah watched her go, his face returning to its usual blank expression. Mrs. Peterson appeared in the doorway. "Mr. Crane, you're home early. Where were you?" Elliot asked. "I had to pick up Noah's prescription," Mrs. Peterson said defensively. "The cleaning lady was here. Noah was fine." Elliot looked at his son, who had retreated to a corner of the room. Yes, he said quietly. He was fine. That night, after Noah was in bed, Elliot sat in his study with a glass of whiskey, thinking about what he had seen. The image of Noah smiling, tapping that drum as the cleaning lady sang, kept playing in his mind. All the specialists, all the therapies, all the carefully controlled routines, none of it had brought that smile to Noah's face. But a cleaning lady singing an old song had reached him in a way Elliot hadn't been able to. He felt a mixture of emotions, relief that Noah had connected with someone, guilt that it wasn't him, and something else he couldn't quite name when he thought about Maya Jefferson and her warm, soulful voice. Elliot picked up his phone and called the cleaning agency. "I want to request Maya Jefferson again," he said, "for regular service." "Is there a problem with her work?" the agency manager asked. "No," Elliot said. "Her work is fine. I think she's a good fit for our household." After hanging up, Elliot walked to Noah's room and stood in the doorway watching his son sleep. For the first time in months, Noah's face looked peaceful. "I'm trying, buddy," Elliot whispered. "I'm trying to give you what you need." He just hadn't realized that what Noah needed might be something as simple as a song. The next morning, Elliot made a decision. Instead of going to the office, he called in and said he'd be working from home. "Noah," he said at breakfast, "would you like to play in the music room today?" Noah looked up, a flicker of interest in his eyes. Mrs. Peterson seemed surprised. "The music room? But you always said—" "I know what I said," Elliot interrupted. "But I'm changing my mind." When Maya arrived at 10 a.m., Elliot was waiting for her. "Mr. Crane," she said, looking nervous, "I wanted to apologize again for yesterday. I know I was supposed to just clean and—" "No," Elliot said, interrupting her. "I'm the one who should apologize. I reacted poorly. I was surprised." Maya nodded, waiting. "I haven't seen Noah smile in months," Elliot admitted, "not since his mother left us. And yesterday, you somehow connected with him in a way that all his therapists and doctors haven't been able to." Maya's expression softened. "My younger brother CJ is autistic," she said, "and he's musically gifted. Music was how we connected when we were growing up." "Noah's mother used to play piano," Elliot said, "before she left. Noah loved it, but after she was gone, I couldn't bear to hear music in the house anymore. It reminded me too much of her." "I understand," Maya said, "but maybe Noah misses it." Elliot nodded slowly. "I think he does, and I was too caught up in my own pain to see it." He took a deep breath. Would you be willing to spend some time with Noah while you're here cleaning? Just sing with him sometimes?" Maya smiled, and Elliot was struck by how it transformed her face. "I'd like that," she said. "Very much." From the doorway of the music room, Noah watched them, his small face serious, but his eyes hopeful. And for the first time in a very long time, Elliot felt a spark of hope too. Maybe, just maybe, Maya Jefferson's music could heal more than just Noah's silence. Maybe it could heal them both. 2 weeks had passed since Maya first sang to Noah in the music room. Now it had become part of their routine. Maya would clean the house in the morning and then spend half an hour in the music room with Noah before leaving. Elliot had rearranged his schedule to come home earlier on the days Maya worked. He told himself it was to check on Noah, but the truth was, he wanted to hear Maya sing. Her voice had awakened something in his house and in his heart that had been silent for too long. Today, Elliot stood in the doorway of the music room, watching as Maya sat at the piano with Noah beside her. She was teaching him simple notes, guiding his small fingers over the keys. "That's it," she encouraged. "Just like that." Noah's face was focused, his usual blank expression replaced with concentration. He pressed the keys in the sequence Maya had shown him, creating a simple melody. "Beautiful," Maya exclaimed. "You're a natural, Noah." Noah didn't smile exactly, but his eyes lit up at her praise. Elliot cleared his throat and they both looked up. "Mr. Crane," Maya said, standing quickly, "I was just finishing up." "Please don't stop on my account," Elliot said. He entered the room hesitantly, as if afraid he might break the magic between them. "What were you playing?" "Just a simple C major scale," Maya explained. "Noah picks things up very quickly." Elliot looked at his son with new eyes. "I didn't know he was interested in playing piano." "Music speaks to him," Maya said simply, "just like it speaks to my brother." Elliot had heard Maya mention her brother before, but hadn't asked for details. Now he found himself curious. "Your brother is autistic too?" Maya nodded. "CJ is 19 now. He doesn't speak much, but he's an amazing musician. He can hear a song once and play it perfectly." "And you took care of him?" Elliot asked, remembering what Maya had told him about putting her education on hold. After our parents died, yes. I was 20, CJ was 13, and our sister Tasha was 10. It was hard, but we made it work. Maya's voice was matter-of-fact, without self-pity. Elliot felt a rush of admiration for her. She had taken on so much responsibility at a young age, while he, with all his resources, struggled to connect with his one child. "Would you like to join us?" Maya asked, gesturing to the piano bench. Elliot hesitated. "I don't play." "Neither did I until CJ needed me to learn," Maya said with a smile. "It's never too late." Something about her smile made it impossible for Elliot to refuse. He sat down on the bench where Maya had been sitting, and Noah immediately tensed. "It's okay," Maya said softly to Noah. "Your dad just wants to learn too." She pulled up another chair and sat on Noah's other side. "Let's start with something simple. Noah, can you show your dad what I just showed you?" To Elliot's surprise, Noah placed his small hands on the keys and played the sequence of notes Maya had taught him. "That's amazing, buddy," Elliot said, his voice thick with emotion. Maya placed Elliot's hands on the keys. "Now you try." Elliot felt self-conscious, but he followed the pattern Noah had shown. His playing was clumsy compared to his son's, but when he finished, Noah looked at him with what almost seemed like approval. "See?" Maya said. "Music brings people together. It's a language everyone can understand." The moment was broken by the sound of the doorbell. "Are you expecting someone?" Maya asked. Elliot frowned. "No, but I'd better see who it is." He left the music room and went to the front door. When he opened it, his stomach dropped. Caroline, his ex-wife, stood on the doorstep, looking as polished and beautiful as ever in her designer clothes and perfect makeup. "Caroline," Elliot said, his voice flat. "This is unexpected." "Hello, Elliot," she said, brushing past him into the house. "I was in town for a conference and thought I'd stop by to see Noah." "You could have called first," Elliot said, following her as she walked through the house like she still owned it. "Would you have said yes?" Caroline asked, arching a perfectly groomed eyebrow. Before Elliot could answer, Caroline stopped abruptly. The sound of piano music was coming from down the hall. "Is that Noah?" she asked, her voice sharp with surprise. She headed toward the music room, with Elliot following. When they reached the doorway, they saw Maya and Noah at the piano playing together. Noah was focused on the keys, not even looking up when they entered. "Who are you?" Caroline demanded, staring at Maya. Maya looked up, startled. "I'm Maya Jefferson. I work for Mr. Crane." Caroline turned to Elliot. "You hired a music teacher?" "Without consulting me." "Maya is our cleaning lady," Elliot said, his voice tight. "And I don't need to consult you about how I raise our son. You gave up that right when you walked out." Caroline's eyes narrowed, but before she could respond, Noah looked up and saw her. His body immediately tensed, and he pressed himself against Maya's side. "Noah, sweetheart," Caroline said, her voice softening as she approached him. "It's Mommy. Don't you want to give me a hug?" Noah didn't move, keeping his eyes down and his body close to Maya. Caroline's face hardened. "What have you been telling him about me?" she demanded, looking from Elliot to Maya. "Nothing," Elliot said. "He remembers, Caroline. He remembers that you left him." Caroline flinched as if he had slapped her. "I left you, Elliot, not Noah. You're the one who fought for full custody." "Because you said he was too much for you to handle," Elliot reminded her. "Your exact words were, 'I can't do this anymore.'" Maya stood up, looking uncomfortable. "I should go. Noah, we'll practice more tomorrow, okay?" Noah grabbed her hand, holding it tightly. "It's okay," Maya said gently. "I'll be back." Caroline watched this interaction with cold eyes. "So the maid is playing Mommy now? How touching." "That's enough," Elliot said sharply. "Maya, please don't leave. Caroline was just going." Caroline laughed bitterly. "Of course. God forbid anything disrupt your perfect, controlled environment." She looked at Maya. "Good luck with this one, honey. Elliot likes everything in its place, including people." With that, she turned and walked out of the room. Elliot followed her to the front door. "Don't come back unannounced again," he said as she left. "And if you want to see Noah, call first. He needs preparation for changes in his routine." "Whatever you say, Elliot," Caroline said dismissively. "You always did know best." After she left, Elliot stood in the hallway for a moment, trying to calm his anger. Then he returned to the music room. Maya was sitting with Noah again, but they weren't playing now. She was just talking to him softly, and he was listening, his small body gradually relaxing. "I'm sorry about that," Elliot said. Maya looked up. "No need to apologize. Families are complicated." Elliot sat down in a chair across from them. "Caroline left us a year ago. She said Noah's needs were too much for her, that she never signed up to raise a special needs child. Maya's face showed no judgment, just quiet understanding. That must have been hard for both of you. I thought I was doing the right thing, Elliot said, the words coming out before he could stop them. Creating a stable, quiet environment, getting the best care. But I've been so focused on what the experts say Noah needs that I missed what he actually needs. And what's that? Maya asked softly. Elliot looked at his son, who was now leaning against Maya's side, completely at ease. Connection, music, joy. He met Maya's eyes. The things you give him so easily. Maya shook her head. Not easily. It's just that I've had practice. With CJ, I learned that sometimes the most important thing isn't fixing or managing. It's just being present, listening to the spaces between words. But Noah doesn't speak, Elliot said. He communicates, Maya corrected gently. Just not with words. When you play music with him, you're having a conversation. Elliot felt something shift inside him, a crack in the wall he had built around his heart after Caroline left. Would you... He hesitated. Would you be willing to help me learn how to have that conversation with him? Maya smiled, and again Elliot was struck by how it transformed her face. I'd be happy to. The next day, Maya arrived at the Crane house with more than just her cleaning supplies. She carried a small duffel bag that contained several simple musical instruments, a tambourine, a small xylophone, and some percussion sticks. I thought Noah might like to try these, she explained to Elliot, who had taken another day to work from home. They're CJ's, but he said Noah could borrow them. That's very kind, Elliot said. Would you like to meet CJ someday? Maya asked, the question surprising her as much as it seemed to surprise Elliot. Elliot looked thoughtful. Yes, I think I would. Maybe he could give me some insight into Noah's world. Maya smiled. He'd like that. He doesn't have many friends, but he loves sharing his music. Mrs. Peterson arrived then, greeting Maya politely. She had been cool toward Maya at first, perhaps sensing that the younger woman had connected with Noah in a way she hadn't. But gradually, she had warmed up, especially when she saw how Noah responded to the music. Noah's already in the music room, Mrs. Peterson told them. He went straight there after breakfast. I think he was hoping you'd come early. Maya and Elliot exchanged a smile, and something warm passed between them, a shared joy in Noah's progress. In the music room, Noah was sitting at the piano, pressing keys randomly, as if searching for a particular sound. When he saw Maya, his face lit up, and he patted the bench beside him. Good morning, Noah, Maya said, sitting down. I brought some friends for you to meet. She opened her bag and showed him the instruments. Noah immediately reached for the tambourine, shaking it experimentally. These are from my brother CJ, Maya explained. He thought you might like them. Maya has been telling me about your brother, Elliot said, sitting in a chair nearby. He sounds like a remarkable young man. He is, Maya agreed. He has his challenges, but his gifts are incredible. Music has given him a way to connect with the world that nothing else could. Like Noah, Elliot said softly. Yes, Maya said, like Noah. They spent the morning playing music together, with Noah exploring the new instruments and even allowing Elliot to join in. By lunchtime, Elliot had to take a conference call, and Maya went back to her cleaning duties. As she dusted the living room, Maya found herself humming happily. She was growing attached to Noah, and if she was honest with herself, to Elliot as well. There was something about him that called to her. Behind his controlled exterior, she sensed a deep well of emotion and a genuine desire to do right by his son. But she reminded herself to be careful. He was her employer, and she was the help. The worlds they came from couldn't be more different. Later that afternoon, as Maya was preparing to leave, Elliot stopped her at the door. I have a favor to ask, he said. Noah has a music therapy evaluation tomorrow. The specialist wants to see how he responds to different types of music. Would you be willing to come with us? I think Noah would be more comfortable with you there. Maya hesitated. I don't know, Mr. Crane. That seems outside my job description. I know, Elliot said, and I'd pay you for your time, of course, but I think it would really help Noah. Maya thought about it. She did want to help Noah, and she was curious about the music therapy program. Okay, she agreed. What time? The appointment is at 10 a.m. I could pick you up at 9:30. That means you'd need my address, Maya said, suddenly self-conscious. Her apartment in Oakland was small, and in a neighborhood that someone like Elliot Crane probably never visited. Yes, Elliot said simply. If that's okay. Maya wrote her address on a piece of paper and handed it to him. Their fingers brushed, and she felt a small jolt of electricity at the contact. From the way Elliot's eyes widened slightly, she thought he might have felt it too. Thank you, he said, for everything you're doing for Noah and for me. You don't have to thank me, Maya said. Noah is a special boy, and you're a good father, Mr. Crane. You just needed a little help finding the right language to speak to him. Elliot, he said. Please call me Elliot. Maya smiled. Elliot, she repeated, liking the way his name felt on her lips. As she walked to the bus stop, Maya couldn't help but wonder what she was getting herself into. The boundary between employer and employee was already blurring, and she sensed that tomorrow would blur it even further. But when she thought of Noah's face lighting up when he played music, and the way Elliot looked at her with those deep, searching eyes, she couldn't bring herself to regret it. The next morning, Maya woke up early and spent extra time getting ready. She chose a simple but pretty blue dress instead of her usual jeans and t-shirt, and even put on a touch of makeup. Her sister Tasha noticed as Maya was having coffee in their small kitchen. "You look nice," Tasha said, eyeing her suspiciously. "Hot date?" Maya rolled her eyes. "No. I'm going with a client and his son to a music therapy evaluation." "A client?" Tasha raised her eyebrows. "The rich guy from Sonoma? The one with the cute kid?" "Noah," Maya corrected. "And yes, Elliot Crane." "Elliot, huh?" Tasha teased, getting pretty friendly with the boss. "It's not like that," Maya insisted. "Noah is autistic, and he responds well to music. I'm just helping out." "Uh-huh," Tasha said skeptically. "And this has nothing to do with the fact that Elliot Crane is gorgeous and single and obviously into you." "He is not into me," Maya said, feeling her cheeks warm. "He's my employer, that's all." "If you say so," Tasha said, clearly not convinced. "Just be careful, okay? Men like that, rich, powerful, they live in a different world." "I know that," Maya said. "Believe me, I know exactly where I stand." But when Elliot pulled up in front of her apartment building in his expensive car, looking handsome in casual clothes instead of his usual suit, Maya wasn't so sure anymore. Noah was in the back seat, and he actually waved when he saw her. The gesture was so unexpected and sweet that Maya felt her heart melt a little more. "Good morning," Elliot said, getting out to open the passenger door for her. "You look nice." "Thank you," Maya said, suddenly shy. "Good morning, Noah," she added, turning to smile at the boy in the back seat. Noah didn't speak, but he handed her a small object. It was a toy piano, miniature but functional. "He wanted to bring it for you," Elliot explained. "He was very insistent." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you, Noah. That's very thoughtful." The drive to the music therapy center was pleasant, with Elliot telling Maya about the program and what the specialist had said about Noah's potential. "They believe music could be a bridge for him," Elliot explained, "a way to develop his communication skills." "I believe that too," Maya said. "I've seen it with CJ. Music gave him confidence, a way to express himself when words failed him." "I wish I had realized sooner," Elliot said, his voice tinged with regret. "All this time I've been so focused on structure and control, thinking that's what Noah needed." "You were doing your best," Maya said gently. "That's all any parent can do." Elliot glanced at her, his eyes warm. "Thank you for saying that. It means a lot." At the music therapy center, they were met by Dr. Roberts, a kind-faced woman who greeted Noah warmly. "And you must be Maya," she said, shaking Maya's hand. "Mr. Crane has told me about your work with Noah." "I'm just a friend who loves music," Maya said modestly. "Well, I'd love to see how you interact with Noah musically," Dr. Roberts said. "It could give us valuable insights." The session was revealing. Noah was initially hesitant with Dr. Roberts, but when Maya joined in, playing a simple rhythm on a drum, he immediately responded, picking up a xylophone and playing along. "Remarkable," Dr. Roberts said, watching them. "He's incredibly responsive to you, Maya." Elliot watched from the corner, his face a mixture of joy and something that looked almost like longing. After the session, Dr. Roberts spoke with Elliot privately, while Maya waited with Noah in the reception area. They played a counting game with their fingers, with Noah actually smiling when Maya pretended to make mistakes. When Elliot returned, his face was thoughtful. "Good news?" Maya asked. "Very good," Elliot said. "Dr. Roberts thinks Noah is an excellent candidate for music therapy. She also suggested that—" He hesitated. "What?" Maya prompted. "She suggested that you might want to be involved in his therapy. She was very impressed with your natural ability to connect with Noah through music." Maya was surprised. "But I'm not a therapist. I don't have any training." "You have something better," Elliot said. "A natural gift and experience with your brother." Maya didn't know what to say. She was touched by the suggestion, but also concerned about getting even more involved in Noah and Elliot's lives. "You don't have to decide now," Elliot assured her. But would you consider it? I would pay you for your time, of course. It's not about the money, Maya said. I care about Noah. I don't want to overstep. You're not overstepping, Elliot said softly. You're helping us find our way back to each other. How could I not be grateful for that? The way he looked at her made Maya's heart beat faster. This was dangerous territory, she knew, but when Noah took her hand as they walked back to the car, she couldn't imagine pulling away, from him or from his father. On the drive back to Oakland, Noah fell asleep in the back seat, worn out from the emotional day. He trusts you, Elliot said, glancing at Maya. That's huge for him. He doesn't trust easily. And neither do you, I think, Maya said, the words coming out before she could stop them. Elliot looked surprised, then thoughtful. You're right, he admitted. After Caroline left, I built walls. Around myself, around Noah. I thought I was protecting us, but maybe I was just keeping us isolated. It's understandable, Maya said. You were hurt. Yes, Elliot agreed, but Noah shouldn't have to pay the price for my pain. They drove in silence for a while, both lost in thought. Would you have dinner with us tonight? Elliot asked suddenly. Nothing fancy, just at the house. I think Noah would like it, and He paused. I would too. Maya knew she should say no. The line between employer and employee was already blurry. Having dinner together would blur it even more, but when she looked at Elliot's hopeful face and thought of Noah's smile when they played music together, she couldn't bring herself to refuse. I'd like that, she said. Elliot's smile was like the sun coming out from behind clouds. Good, he said simply. That's good. As they drove through the sunny California afternoon, Maya felt both excitement and trepidation. She was stepping into uncharted territory, getting involved with a family that wasn't hers, developing feelings for a man who lived in a world so different from her own. But when she glanced back at Noah's peaceful, sleeping face, she knew she couldn't turn back now. Somehow this little boy and his father had found their way into her heart. And Maya, who had always put others first, who had given up her dreams to care for her siblings, who cleaned other people's houses while her own dreams gathered dust, Maya found herself hoping for the first time in a long time that maybe she could have something for herself, something that felt a lot like happiness, something that felt a lot like love. 3 weeks had passed since Maya first had dinner at Elliot's house. What had started as a one-time invitation had become a regular occurrence. Twice a week after Maya finished cleaning, she would stay for dinner with Elliot and Noah. These evenings had become the highlight of Maya's week. Noah was opening up more every day, and Elliot was slowly shedding the stiff, controlled demeanor that had once defined him. Tonight, Maya stood in Elliot's kitchen, helping him prepare dinner. Noah sat at the counter, carefully arranging silverware on napkins, a task he enjoyed for its order and precision. He set the table for 3 again, Elliot noted quietly, nodding toward Noah. He expects you to be here. Maya smiled, warmth spreading through her chest. Is that okay with you? More than okay, Elliot said, his eyes meeting hers. This house feels different when you're here. It feels like a home. The simple honesty of his words made Maya's heart skip. Over the past weeks, something had been growing between them, something neither had put into words yet, but both could feel. CJ asked about you again, Maya said, changing the subject to safer ground. He wants to know when he can meet Noah. Elliot looked thoughtful as he stirred the pasta sauce. What do you think? Is Noah ready for that? I think he might be, Maya said. CJ is so gentle, and they share that connection with music. It could be good for Noah to meet someone like him. Then let's do it, Elliot decided. Maybe this weekend. They could play music together. Maya beamed. CJ would love that. He doesn't get many chances to share his music with others. And after, Elliot added, his voice a little hesitant, maybe we could all go out to dinner. The 5 of us, you, me, Noah, CJ, and Tasha. Maya paused, a strange flutter in her stomach. This sounded suspiciously like Elliot wanting to meet her family, a significant step beyond their current arrangement. Like a family dinner, she asked carefully. Elliot's eyes held hers. Yes. Is that too much? No, Maya said softly. It's not too much. It's nice. The moment was interrupted by the ringing of Elliot's phone. He glanced at the screen and frowned. I need to take this. It's the office. He stepped out of the kitchen, leaving Maya and Noah alone. Maya continued preparing the salad, humming softly. Noah looked up at the sound, smiling slightly. You like when I sing, don't you? Maya asked. Noah nodded, a clear, deliberate gesture that made Maya's heart soar. These small responses were becoming more frequent, each one a tiny miracle. Elliot returned a few minutes later, his expression troubled. Everything okay? Maya asked. Not really, Elliot admitted. That was Richard Blackwell, the chairman of my company's board. He's insisting on having an emergency meeting here tomorrow evening. Something about concerns over a new project. Here? At the house? Yes, Elliot sighed. He says he needs to speak with me immediately, and he's flying in from New York. I couldn't say no. I can make myself scarce, Maya offered. I'll just finish cleaning and leave before he arrives. No, Elliot said quickly. Actually, I was hoping you'd stay. Noah is comfortable with you and these meetings can run long. Richard can be difficult. Are you sure that's a good idea? Maya asked. I'm just the cleaning lady, Elliot. What will your chairman think? Elliot's face softened. You're not just anything, Maya, and I don't care what Richard thinks. You're important to Noah and to me. The way he said those last words made Maya's breath catch. There was a weight to them, a meaning that went beyond the simple statement. Okay, she agreed. I'll stay. The next evening, Maya was nervous as she finished cleaning the living room. She had worn her nicest outfit to work, a simple blue dress that Tasha had helped her pick out, saying it brought out her eyes. You're not just cleaning today, Tasha had teased. You're meeting the in-laws. It's his board chairman, not his family, Maya had protested, and we're not even officially dating. Tasha had replied skeptically. Tell that to your face when you talk about him. Now, as Maya arranged the last of the fresh flowers she had brought for the table, she heard the sound of a car pulling up outside. She straightened her dress and took a deep breath. Elliot came down the stairs looking handsome in a suit. He had been working from home all day, preparing for the meeting. You look beautiful, he said, his eyes warm as they took in Maya's appearance. Thank you, she said, blushing slightly. Do you want me to stay in the kitchen with Noah during your meeting? No need, Elliot said. Richard should know that my home is a family space now, not just an extension of the office. Noah can play in the music room, and you can be wherever you're comfortable. The doorbell rang, and Elliot went to answer it. Maya heard a deep voice in the entryway, and then Elliot returned with an older man in an expensive suit. Richard Blackwell was tall and distinguished, with silver hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Those eyes took in Maya's presence with obvious surprise. Richard, this is Maya Jefferson, Elliot introduced. Maya, this is Richard Blackwell, the chairman of our board. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Blackwell, Maya said politely. Richard nodded, his expression puzzled. Likewise, Ms. Jefferson. Are you a colleague of Elliot's? Before Maya could answer, Noah appeared in the doorway. When he saw Richard, he hesitated, his body tensing. And this is my son, Noah, Elliot said, his voice gentle. Noah, can you say hello to Mr. Blackwell? Noah didn't respond, but he didn't retreat either, which Maya knew was progress. Hello, young man, Richard said awkwardly. He clearly wasn't used to dealing with children. Noah looked at Maya, as if seeking reassurance. She smiled at him. Why don't we go to the music room while your dad has his meeting, she suggested. Noah nodded and headed down the hall. Maya turned to follow him, but Richard's voice stopped her. Music room? I didn't know you were musical, Elliot. I'm not, Elliot said, but Noah is discovering a talent for it with Maya's help. Richard's eyebrows rose. I see. And Ms. Jefferson is... Maya helps us around the house, Elliot said simply, and she's been wonderful with Noah. Ah, Richard said, understanding dawning on his face. Well, we have a lot to discuss, Elliot. Shall we? They moved to Elliot's study, leaving Maya free to join Noah in the music room. She found him sitting at the piano, playing a simple melody she had taught him. That sounds beautiful, Noah, she said, sitting beside him. They played together for a while, with Maya teaching Noah a new song. He was learning quickly, his natural talent evident in the way he picked up melodies and rhythms. After about an hour, Maya heard raised voices coming from Elliot's study. She couldn't make out the words, but the tone was tense. Let's try the new drums your dad bought, she suggested to Noah, moving away from the piano to give Elliot and Richard privacy. A little while later, the door to the music room opened, and Elliot appeared with Richard behind him. Noah wanted to show Richard what he's been learning, Elliot explained, his voice tight despite his smile. Richard looked uncomfortable, but nodded politely. Would you play something for Mr. Blackwell? Maya asked Noah gently. To her surprise, Noah nodded and went to the piano. He sat down and began to play the song they had been practicing, a simple but beautiful melody that Maya had written herself. Richard's expression changed as he watched Noah play. The sternness softened, replaced by genuine surprise. He's quite good, Richard said to Elliot. How long has he been playing? Just a few weeks, Elliot replied, pride evident in his voice. Maya has been teaching him. Richard looked at Maya with new interest. "You're a music teacher, Miss Jefferson?" "No," Maya admitted. "I studied music education in college, but I had to put it on hold. I just love music, and Noah seems to connect with it." "She's being modest," Elliot said. "Maya has a remarkable gift. She's helped Noah more in a few weeks than all his therapists have in a year." Richard looked from Elliot to Maya, then back again, his shrewd eyes assessing the situation. "I see," he said carefully. "Well, Noah is certainly talented. You must be very proud, Elliot." "I am," Elliot agreed. "Of both of them." The way he included Maya in that statement made her heart swell. After Noah finished playing, Elliot suggested he might want to watch TV in the den for a while. Once Noah had left, Richard turned to Maya. "Miss Jefferson, would you mind giving Elliot and me a moment to finish our discussion?" "Of course," Maya said, standing to leave. "I'll check on Noah." As she closed the door behind her, she heard Richard say to Elliot, "She seems very involved in your household." Maya tried not to eavesdrop, but she couldn't help hearing Elliot's response. "She is, and I couldn't be happier about it." Later that night, after Richard had left and Noah was in bed, Elliot found Maya in the kitchen washing the last of the dinner dishes. "You don't have to do that," he said, taking the dish towel from her hands. "You're not on the clock now." Maya smiled. "I don't mind, it's peaceful." Elliot leaned against the counter, studying her face. "Richard had a lot to say about you." Maya tensed. "Oh?" "He thinks I'm being reckless," Elliot said, his voice matter-of-fact. "Letting a cleaning lady get so close to Noah, to me." Maya's stomach dropped. "I see. I told him he was wrong," Elliot continued. "I told him you were the best thing that's happened to us in a long time." Maya looked up, meeting his eyes. "And what did he say to that?" "He said I should be careful, that personal and professional boundaries exist for a reason." Elliot stepped closer to her. "But the thing is, Maya, I don't want those boundaries with you. Not anymore." Maya's heart was pounding. "What are you saying, Elliot?" "I'm saying that I care about you, as more than someone who works for me, as more than a friend." His voice was steady, but she could see the vulnerability in his eyes. "And I hope that maybe you feel the same way." Maya took a shaky breath. "I do," she admitted. "But Elliot, we come from such different worlds. Your board chairman just reminded me of that. I clean houses for a living. You run a tech company worth billions." "None of that matters to me," Elliot said, taking her hands in his. "What matters is how you understand Noah, how you brought music back into our lives, how you make me feel like a better man when I'm with you." Before Maya could respond, Elliot leaned down and kissed her. It was gentle at first, then deepened as Maya responded, wrapping her arms around his neck. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless. "I've wanted to do that for weeks," Elliot confessed. Maya smiled. "Me too." "So where do we go from here?" Elliot asked. "I don't know," Maya admitted, "but I think we figure it out together, day by day." Elliot nodded, pulling her close again. "I like the sound of that." The weekend arrived, and with it came the planned meeting between Noah and CJ. Maya brought her siblings to Elliot's house, feeling nervous about how the two worlds would collide. CJ was tall and lanky, with the same warm brown eyes as Maya. He carried his favorite keyboard under his arm, his face a mixture of excitement and anxiety. "CJ, Tasha, this is Elliot," Maya introduced, "and this is Noah." Tasha, confident and outspoken at 16, shook Elliot's hand firmly. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Crane. Maya talks about you all the time." Maya shot her sister a warning look, but Elliot just smiled. "Please call me Elliot. And it's wonderful to meet you both. Maya speaks very highly of you." CJ was looking at Noah, who was partially hiding behind Elliot's legs, watching the newcomers with cautious eyes. "Hi, Noah," CJ said, his voice soft and slightly monotone. "Maya says you like music." Noah didn't respond verbally, but he nodded. "Me too," CJ said. "Want to see my keyboard?" He held out the instrument and Noah took a tentative step forward, his interest piqued. "The music room is this way," Elliot said, leading them down the hall. What followed was nothing short of magical. CJ set up his keyboard and began to play, beautiful, complex melodies that filled the room. Noah watched, transfixed, and then slowly moved to the piano. Instead of playing his usual simple tunes, he began to mimic what CJ was playing, his small fingers finding the notes with surprising accuracy. CJ smiled, a rare, brilliant expression that made him look so much like Maya. "You're good," he told Noah, and then adjusted his playing to complement what Noah was doing. Together they created a duet that made Maya's eyes fill with tears. Elliot stood beside her, his arm around her waist, watching in amazement. They understand each other, Maya whispered. Yes, Elliot agreed. They speak the same language. Tasha, watching from the doorway, shook her head in wonder. It's like they've known each other forever. After a while, the boys moved from playing music to showing each other their favorite toys and games. CJ, usually so withdrawn with strangers, was patient and gentle with Noah, and Noah seemed completely at ease with him. Later, when they all went out to dinner at a nice restaurant Elliot had chosen, Maya couldn't help but notice how right it felt, the five of them together, like a family. Elliot insisted on paying, despite Tasha's initial protests. "This is my treat," he said firmly. "I'm just grateful you all could come." CJ, who rarely spoke in public, actually answered when Elliot asked him about his music. "I want to make albums someday," he said. "Songs without words that tell stories." "That sounds wonderful," Elliot said sincerely. "I'd love to hear them." By the end of the evening, Maya could see that Elliot had completely won over her siblings. Even Tasha, who had been skeptical about the rich guy dating her sister, was laughing at Elliot's jokes and telling him embarrassing stories about Maya's childhood. As they were saying goodbye outside the restaurant, Elliot pulled Maya aside. "Your family is amazing," he said. "Just like you." Maya smiled. "They liked you too. Even Tasha, and she's not easy to impress." "There's something else," Elliot said, his expression turning serious. "I've been thinking about what you said, about music education, about having to put it on hold." Maya looked at him curiously. "What would you think about going back to school?" Elliot asked. "Finishing your degree, you're so talented, Maya. You should be teaching music, not cleaning houses." Maya was stunned. I don't know what to say. School is expensive and I have responsibilities. CJ and Tasha, I could help," Elliot said, "with tuition. Before you say no," he added quickly, seeing her expression, "think about it as an investment, in your future, in what you could offer Noah and other children like him." Maya felt overwhelmed. The offer was generous, life-changing even, but it also highlighted the vast differences in their circumstances. "I need to think about it," she said finally. "It's a lot to take in." Elliot nodded. "Of course, no pressure, just know that the offer is there if you want it." He kissed her gently, then went to say goodbye to CJ and Tasha. As Maya watched him with her siblings, Elliot crouching down to listen intently to something CJ was saying, then laughing at one of Tasha's jokes, she felt her heart expand. Maybe their worlds were different, maybe there were challenges ahead. But in this moment, seeing the people she loved most connecting with each other, Maya allowed herself to hope that those differences didn't have to keep them apart. The following Wednesday, Maya arrived at Elliot's house to find him looking stressed. "What's wrong?" she asked as soon as she saw his face. "Caroline called," Elliot said, running a hand through his hair. "She's coming to see Noah this afternoon. She says she has concerns about his care." Maya felt a knot form in her stomach. "Is this about me?" "Probably," Elliot admitted. "Richard and Caroline are old family friends. I'm guessing he mentioned you to her." "Should I not be here when she comes?" Maya asked. Elliot's expression hardened. "No, I want you here. You're a part of Noah's life now, a positive part. Caroline needs to accept that." But when Caroline arrived later that afternoon, it was clear she had no intention of accepting anything. She swept into the house like a storm, designer heels clicking on the hardwood floors. "Where is Noah?" she demanded. "In the music room with Maya," Elliot said calmly. "Hello to you too, Caroline." Caroline ignored his sarcasm, marching toward the music room. Elliot followed, his jaw tight. Maya was sitting at the piano with Noah, teaching him a new song, when Caroline burst in. "Noah, sweetheart," Caroline said, her voice artificially sweet. "Mommy's here to take you out for ice cream." Noah tensed immediately, pressing himself against Maya's side. "Caroline," Elliot said warningly, "you know Noah doesn't like surprises. You should have called first to arrange this properly." "I don't need to call to see my own son," Caroline snapped. Then, noticing how Noah was clinging to Maya, her eyes narrowed. "Noah, come here, we're leaving." Noah shook his head, his small body trembling. "He doesn't want to go," Maya said quietly. "He's upset." Caroline turned on her, eyes flashing. "And who are you to tell me what my son wants? You're the maid. Or are you more than that now? Richard said you've been playing house with my husband." "Ex-husband," Elliot corrected sharply. "And Maya has been more of a mother to Noah in the past month than you've been in a year." Caroline looked as if he had slapped her. "How dare you?" she hissed. "I am his mother. Nothing can change that." "Being a mother is more than biology," Elliot said. "It's showing up. It's caring." It's putting your child's needs ahead of your own. When was the last time you did any of those things? Caroline's face flushed with anger. You have no right to judge me. I did my best. But Noah's condition, it was too much. You know it was too much. No, Elliot said firmly. It wasn't too much. You just weren't willing to try hard enough. Maya has shown me that connecting with Noah isn't impossible. It just takes patience and love. Caroline looked from Elliot to Maya, then to Noah, who was still pressed against Maya's side, refusing to look at his mother. So that's how it is, she said coldly. You've replaced me with her. She gestured dismissively at Maya. No one is replacing you, Caroline, Maya said, finding her voice. Noah needs all the love he can get. There's room for everyone in his life, if you're willing to meet him where he is. Caroline laughed bitterly. Spare me the inspirational speech. I know what's going on here. Elliot always did have a thing for charity cases. Elliot's face darkened. That's enough, Caroline. I think you should leave. Fine, Caroline said, grabbing her purse. But this isn't over. I still have rights, and I won't let you turn my son against me. She stormed out, leaving a heavy silence in her wake. Noah was still trembling, and Maya pulled him gently into her lap, humming softly to calm him. I'm sorry about that, Elliot said, sitting down beside them. Caroline has always been difficult. It's okay, Maya said, though her heart was racing. She's his mother. She has a right to be in his life. Yes, Elliot agreed, but not to disrupt it whenever she feels like it, and not to talk to you that way. Maya looked down at Noah, who was gradually relaxing as she hummed. Do you think she'll cause problems? Maya asked quietly. Probably, Elliot admitted. Caroline doesn't like to lose, and she definitely doesn't like to be replaced. I'm not trying to replace her, Maya said. I know that, Elliot assured her, but Caroline sees the world in terms of winning and losing, and right now she feels like she's losing Noah to you. Maya continued to hum, rocking Noah gently. Despite Elliot's reassurances, she couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Caroline was beautiful, wealthy, and Noah's biological mother. What if she decided she wanted her family back? Where would that leave Maya? Elliot seemed to sense her thoughts. He reached out and took her hand, squeezing it gently. Hey, he said softly, we're going to be okay. All of us. Maya wanted to believe him. As she held Noah and felt the warmth of Elliot's hand in hers, she almost did. But Caroline's angry words echoed in her mind, along with Richard Blackwell's obvious disapproval. Their worlds were colliding now, and Maya couldn't help but wonder if she would be the one left picking up the pieces when the dust settled. 2 months had passed since Caroline's angry visit, and autumn had settled over Sonoma County. The vineyards surrounding Elliot's house had turned golden and red, and the air had a crisp bite to it. Inside the house, everything had changed. What had once been a silent, sterile environment was now filled with music, laughter, and life. Maya spent most of her free time there, no longer as the cleaning lady, but as Elliot's girlfriend and Noah's music teacher. With Maya's encouragement, Elliot had hired a new full-time housekeeper, Mrs. Rivera, a kind older woman who adored Noah and made amazing cookies that filled the house with the scent of cinnamon and vanilla. It still feels strange, Maya admitted to Elliot one evening as they sat on the patio, watching Noah play in the garden. Not cleaning when I come over, Elliot laughed, taking her hand. You were never just the cleaning lady, Maya. Not to me, and not to Noah. Maya smiled, but there was a hint of worry in her eyes. Caroline hasn't tried to contact Noah again since that day. Do you think she's given up? Elliot's expression sobered. Caroline doesn't give up. She's just planning her next move. As if his words had summoned her, Elliot's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and sighed. Speak of the devil, he answered, his voice carefully neutral. Caroline. Maya watched as Elliot's face grew more serious with each passing moment. Finally, he hung up. What is it? Maya asked. She wants to meet tomorrow with her lawyer. Elliot ran a hand through his hair. She's filing for joint custody. Maya felt her stomach drop. Can she do that? After abandoning him for a year? She never legally gave up her rights, Elliot explained, and she has resources, money, connections. The court might be sympathetic to a mother who claims she's had a change of heart. Maya looked at Noah, who was carefully arranging small stones in a pattern on the garden path. He had made so much progress in the past months. His music therapy was going well, and he had even started responding to simple questions with one-word answers. The thought of disrupting his routine, of forcing him to spend time in Caroline's cold, perfectionist world, made Maya's heart ache. What can we do? She asked. Elliot squeezed her hand. I'm going to fight it, of course. But I think Caroline has another agenda. This isn't really about Noah. What do you mean? I think it's about you, Elliot said gently. About us. She doesn't like that I've moved on, that Noah has bonded with you. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the autumn air. So I'm the problem. No, Elliot said firmly. You're the solution to so many things that were broken before you came into our lives. Don't ever doubt that. But Maya did doubt it. That night, as she drove back to her apartment in Oakland, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was causing trouble for Elliot and Noah. What if Caroline won joint custody? What if Noah's progress was derailed? Tasha found her sitting at the kitchen table, staring into a cup of cold tea. Uh-oh, Tasha said, sitting down across from her. I know that face. What happened? Maya explained about Caroline's custody threat. So, you're thinking of backing off, Tasha guessed. Sacrificing your happiness to make things easier for them, wouldn't you? Maya asked. If you thought it would help CJ. No, Tasha said bluntly, because running away doesn't help anyone. Not you, not Elliot, and definitely not Noah. But if I'm the reason Caroline is causing trouble... Stop it, Tasha interrupted. Caroline is causing trouble because she's selfish and controlling. You're just an excuse. If it wasn't you, she'd find another reason to make Elliot's life difficult. Maya sighed. Maybe, but I can't help feeling like I'm complicating things. Love is complicated, Tasha said with a shrug. That doesn't mean it's not worth fighting for. Love. The word hung in the air between them. Maya hadn't said it to Elliot yet, though she felt it in her heart every time she saw him with Noah, every time he looked at her with those warm, serious eyes. I don't want to lose them, Maya admitted softly. Tasha reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Then don't give up without a fight. The next day, Maya was working with a group of children at the community center where she had started teaching music classes, part of her journey back to her education dreams, with Elliot's encouragement and financial support. She had just finished a lesson when she looked up to see Elliot standing in the doorway. He was supposed to be meeting with Caroline and her lawyer. The fact that he was here instead made Maya's heart race with anxiety. Elliot? What happened? He waited until the last child had left before entering the room. His face was unreadable. The meeting went unexpectedly, he said. What do you mean? Elliot sat down on one of the small chairs, looking almost comically large on it. Caroline didn't show up with her lawyer. She came alone. Maya sat down across from him, confused. Why? She said she wanted to talk, not fight. Elliot still seemed bewildered by this turn of events. She said she's been doing some thinking about Noah, about what's best for him. And what did she decide? Maya asked cautiously. She's dropping the custody threat, Elliot said. She's moving to London for work, a big promotion. She says she'll visit Noah when she can, but she recognizes that his home is with me, with us. Maya couldn't believe it. Just like that? After all her threats? Not exactly, Elliot admitted. She had some conditions. Maya tensed. What kind of conditions? She wants Noah to have regular music therapy. She's even offering to pay for it. That's surprisingly reasonable. There's more, Elliot continued. She wants to be kept informed about his progress. Regular updates, video calls when possible. Also reasonable, Maya agreed, still waiting for the catch. And she wants to meet with you, Elliot finished. Alone. Maya blinked in surprise. Me? Why? She wouldn't say. Just that she wants to talk to you woman to woman. Elliot looked troubled. You don't have to do it, Maya. I told her that. Maya thought about it. The idea of facing Caroline alone was intimidating, but if it meant resolving the custody issue, giving Noah stability, I'll do it, she decided. Where and when? Tomorrow afternoon, at the cafe in town. Elliot reached for her hand. Are you sure about this? Maya nodded. I'm sure. But as she prepared to meet Caroline the next day, Maya was a bundle of nerves. What could Noah's mother possibly want to say to her? Was it a trap? Some new way to force Maya out of Elliot and Noah's lives? The cafe was quiet when Maya arrived, with only a few customers scattered at tables. Caroline was already there, sitting at a corner table with a cup of coffee in front of her. She looked elegant as always, but there was something different about her, a softness around the edges that hadn't been there before. Thank you for coming, Caroline said as Maya sat down across from her. Elliot said you wanted to talk, Maya replied, keeping her voice neutral. Caroline studied her for a moment. You're not what I expected, she said finally. What did you expect? I don't know. Someone more calculating, I guess. When Richard told me Elliot was involved with the cleaning lady, I assumed you were after his money. Maya felt a flash of anger. I never cared about Elliot's money. I know that now, Caroline said, surprising her. "I've done some research on you, Maya Jefferson. Former music education student. Raised your siblings after your parents died. Work 3 jobs to make ends meet. You're not the gold digger I imagined." Maya wasn't sure how to respond to that backhanded compliment. "Why am I here, Caroline?" Caroline sighed, looking down at her coffee. "I saw Noah last week. Elliot doesn't know. I went to his music therapy session. I watched through the window." She looked up, her eyes unexpectedly bright with tears. "He was playing the piano and smiling. Actually smiling. I haven't seen him smile like that since before I left." Maya waited, sensing there was more. "The therapist told me about his progress, how he's starting to speak a little, how music has opened something in him." Caroline's voice wavered. "She also mentioned you, said you were the one who discovered his connection to music, that you've been working with him at home." "Noah has a natural talent," Maya said. "He just needed someone to notice it. Someone who wasn't me," Caroline said quietly. There was pain in her voice, but no bitterness. "I never had the patience or the insight. I was always trying to make Noah fit into my world, instead of trying to enter his." She took a deep breath. "The truth is, I'm not a good mother. Not the kind Noah needs. I thought I could force myself to be, but it just made us both miserable. You, though," she looked directly at Maya, "you connect with him in a way I never could." Maya was stunned by this admission. "Caroline, I never meant to take your place." "I know," Caroline interrupted, "but the fact is, you have. And watching Noah at that therapy session, seeing how happy he is now, I realized I need to let go. For his sake." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that I'm backing off completely. No custody battle, no more surprise visits." Caroline's voice was steady now, determined. "Noah needs stability. He needs people who understand him, who can help him grow. That's Elliot, and that's you." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. "Thank you," she said softly. "That can't have been an easy decision." "It wasn't," Caroline admitted, "but it's the right one. For once in my life, I'm putting Noah's needs ahead of my own." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small box, sliding it across the table to Maya. "What's this?" Maya asked. "Open it," Caroline said. Inside was a delicate silver locket. When Maya opened it, she found a tiny photo of Noah as a baby. "I want you to have this," Caroline said. "I've had it since he was born, but I think it belongs with you now." Maya was speechless, deeply moved by the gesture. "Caroline, I don't know what to say." "Just promise me you'll take care of him," Caroline said, "and that you'll send me videos of him playing music sometimes. I'd like to see his progress, even from a distance." "Of course," Maya promised. "Any time." As they said goodbye outside the cafe, Caroline surprised Maya again by hugging her briefly. "Be good to them," she whispered. "They deserve that." Maya watched her walk away, feeling as if a weight had been lifted. The threat that had been hanging over them was gone, dissolved by Caroline's unexpected grace. When she told Elliot about the meeting later that day, he was as surprised as she had been. "Caroline actually said all that?" he asked, incredulous. "And gave you her locket?" Maya nodded, showing him the silver pendant she now wore around her neck. "She's changed, Elliot. Or maybe she's just finally being honest with herself. Either way, she's letting go." Elliot pulled Maya into his arms, holding her close. "So we're free," he said against her hair. "No more looking over our shoulders." "It seems that way," Maya agreed. Noah came into the room then, carrying the small drum he'd been playing the first day Maya had sung to him. He held it out to her expectantly. "You want to play?" Maya asked with a smile. Noah nodded. "Together," he said clearly, one of the few words he now used regularly. "Yes," Maya agreed, her heart full. "Together." 1 month later, Elliot's house was filled with people. Maya's family was there, CJ playing duets with Noah on the piano, Tasha helping Mrs. Rivera in the kitchen. Some of Elliot's friends had come too, and a few of Noah's therapists and teachers. It was Noah's 8th birthday and his first real party. Maya had worried it might be too much stimulation for him, but with a quiet room set aside where he could retreat if needed, Noah was handling the celebration remarkably well. "He's thriving," Dr. Roberts, the music therapist, said to Maya as they watched Noah showing CJ a new piece he had learned. "His progress has been extraordinary. He just needed to find his voice," Maya said, "his own way of expressing himself. And someone who could hear it," Dr. Roberts added with a smile. "You've been good for him, Maya, for both of them." As the party continued, Maya noticed Elliot slipping outside onto the patio. She followed him, finding him looking out over the vineyards, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Everything okay?" she asked, joining him at the railing. Perfect, he said, putting an arm around her shoulders. I was just thinking about how much has changed in 6 months, how different our lives are now. Good different? Maya asked. The best kind of different, Elliot assured her. He turned to face her, taking both her hands in his. Maya, there's something I want to ask you. Maya's heart skipped a beat as Elliot reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. I had a whole speech planned, he said with a nervous laugh, about how you brought music back into our lives, how you taught me to listen to the spaces between words, how you showed me what it means to truly connect with Noah. He opened the box, revealing a beautiful diamond ring. But I think I'll just ask instead. Maya Jefferson, will you marry me? Will you make our family official? Maya felt tears of joy spill down her cheeks. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will. Elliot slipped the ring onto her finger, then pulled her close for a kiss. They were interrupted by a small sound from the doorway. Noah stood there watching them. To Maya's surprise, he was smiling, a full, genuine smile that lit up his whole face. Happy, he said clearly, pointing to his chest. Happy. Maya knelt down, opening her arms, and Noah came to her, allowing her to hug him. Over his head her eyes met Elliot's, and she saw her own joy reflected there. Yes, Noah, she agreed softly. We're all very happy. From inside the house came the sound of music, CJ playing a beautiful melody on the piano. The notes drifted out to them on the autumn air, a soundtrack to this perfect moment. Maya thought about how far they had all come, from silence to music, from loneliness to connection, from separate lives to a family bound by love. Later that night, after all the guests had gone and Noah was asleep, Maya and Elliot sat in the music room, the only light coming from the moon through the windows. I used to think silence was peace, Elliot said softly, echoing words from their early days together. But you showed me the kind of silence that heals, comes after the music. Maya leaned her head on his shoulder, her engagement ring catching the moonlight. So what now? She asked. Elliot took her hand, his thumb tracing over the ring. We sing, he said, even if we don't always know the words. Together. And in the quiet of the house that was no longer too silent, surrounded by the lingering echoes of the day's music and laughter, they began their new life together, a family created not by obligation or blood, but by the perfect harmony of 3 hearts finding their way to each other. The end.